Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another weekly Geek episode. Today, you are having the pleasure of joining us, and I am the
What the
artiste,
hell was
Kirklin
that?
Patzer. It's been a while. It's been a while since I led one of these. It was a little bit of a fumble. I apologize. But who am I joined here with today?
I'm Venom Marcaster. I mean, I liked it. It sounded like it was rehearsed. Like that. It was like something you had like charted out on a script because of the way it goes there and back again. It's very much like a little Hobbit's tale on that. I like it.
I got a transcript screen right above me, and whoever
Mm,
whoever was filling it out
teleprompter.
today, yeah, teleprompter. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever was filling it out threw me for a little loop there, but
I
it all
am
worked out.
Kirkland Patzer.
Yeah.
Question mark at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, yeah. So Weekly Geek today. This episode, I feel like it might be a little bit of a shorter one, at least
Mm-hmm.
compared to the usual Kirkland Dillon, whether it's side quests or whatnot. I feel like you and I, we have this magic where we just go off. We go on for like
Mm-hmm.
3 hour casts. That's not too unusual. But before we get into some nice juicy trailers and some other maybe C tier rumors and scooper stuff, quick plugs to get out of the way. As usual, you can get all of our stuff on GeekVerse.ca. That's like the main landing
Mm-hmm.
page for all of our all of our links to all our different social medias, Facebook, Twitter, all that jazz. Make sure to go join the Patreon. That's where you can get everything
Yes.
early, ad-free, exclusive. We got a plethora of content on there right now, whether it's retros or just some early stuff that the Patreons get the first dibs at as they should, as they deserve, because those people are the ones that are really supporting us the most and just keeping the lights on, allowing us to do what we do and the amount of things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Throw this little banner on there as I'm giving my spiel,
Oh
and
yeah, I
then
should be
us.
helping you out, but
That's okay. You're just watching me drown in the water, holding your life preserver to the chest.
drinking my tea.
Yeah. Speaking of Patreon, super big shout out to our Patreon producers. That is the highest tier that you
Highest.
can possibly join, at least right now. No, it is
You
the
could
ceiling.
try going way higher and see what happens. I'm sure we would honor that.
We would probably give you a super bonus shout out, but as
Mm-hmm.
of right now, our Patreon producers are Aaron Braden, oh my gosh, let me restart. Patreon producers are Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Joshua Wright, and Jack Grant. We love you, people. Thank you so much for supporting us the way you do.
Man, whenever I see, because Jack Grant, just a new patron on there, I
Yes,
just
the
when
newest
I
one.
see that name, I instantly think of one of Moon Knight's personalities, right? Because one of them is like
Mm.
something. It's Stephen Grant, right?
Yeah, you
And then I
got it.
feel like Jack just feels like a name that also fits for one of his other names. So I
Yeah.
see that name, I think of Moon Knight. So I don't know. Maybe it's a Moon Knight alternate personality over there.
I don't have like a super deep like cut knowledge of Moon Knight, so I don't know how many personalities he really has. So like maybe that is another one that they just didn't feature in the Disney Plus show, and I don't know,
It's
maybe we'll
possible.
be seeing that in the future. Um, But yeah, what else? We just got we got weekly reviews for Mando. Last of Us finale is coming up.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Dylan? I feel like it's just been like a blink, and now we're here at the end. I had to miss a couple episodes, maybe only one, maybe two. Can't remember now. But yeah, I feel like I blinked, and here we are at the tail end of that show, which I've been really enjoying. But yeah, how do you think with it going
Yeah.
out?
I mean, yeah, I've been a little disappointed in the second half. Disappointed, that's seriously an overstatement. I've just been more like neutral on it, I guess, from how much I was loving it in the first half. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think it just feels like so soon. I feel like I'm not ready for the finale. So we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes. I'm getting a bit of that moment where we have with many Marvel shows where you get to the finale and you're like, there's a lot that you need to do here.
Yeah.
And rarely do those land with like a perfect finale of, oh man, they actually did cover everything and then some. Like it worked for me with She-Hulk. I think people were pretty happy with Loki, even though that was a bit of a
Mhm.
detour. But yeah, so I guess I'm a little bit worried, but I am still excited to get there. And yeah, then I don't have any other like shows going on after that. So I don't know. I'm not on the Mando train. So for me, it kind of ends right there. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably Secret Wars is the next like new weekly show I'll be
Right.
watching, other than of course Survivor. But that's
Yeah, of
different.
course. You're ride or die with Survivor. I feel like that'll just be a show. The show will probably never die because it's just been
Yeah.
going on for how many seasons now? Over 20?
Oh, dude, 44 is what we're
Oh
on
my
right now.
gosh.
It's been
I
going on
was
for 20
downplaying it.
years. 20
Okay.
or 20, yeah, 20 years, 2 seasons a year. So,
Holy
and
moly.
then COVID changed some things, but yeah, it's 44. Shout outs to Maddie and Clay. We did a little draft in the GV Discord.
Nice.
We each picked 3 players, And no spoilers for this week's episode, but not looking good for one of them, and looking all right for me. So I'll just say that.
I love it. We should maybe motivate Taylor to do a Survivor poll. I'm not sure if he's seen that show or not, but
Wow, I would love to see the result. I would get a Facebook account again to see that happen. That would
it'd be worth it. I have like zero knowledge of Survivor. I feel like I've seen maybe 2 episodes in that 40.
Well, Clay said he just
run.
started, so there's never a bad time to
Damn.
get into Survivor.
It's a good point. I got a lot of shows on right now. We got You season 2, or my gosh, You season 4 part 2
Yeah.
that just came out today. So we are going to be dropping our review for that, I believe, Sunday. So expect to see that on
Nice.
all the feeds that it is relevant on the main.
That's
as
a
well as
busy
the
few
review
days
feed.
with the movies, Scream and 65
Yeah.
coming out too.
Oh
And
yeah,
Mando
it's-
and Last of Us. That's a humdinger of a few days there.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy for that. You know, I got to play some arcane games. So you know,
Mhm.
like a nice little shout out to our retros that are coming out. That's lots of fun. But also just like the shows I got to watch, the movies, but also I mean like Taylor and Travis, they're seeing another movie on top of that. So those guys are crazy.
Yeah.
On top of some other things that we got cooking this weekend that you know the rest of the world will probably see one day.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, speaking of the retro, any side quest shout outs there? You and I had a fun episode. They're not too
That was a
long ago.
very fun episode. I mean, we talked about so many different things, but I think just talking about Hitman and you talking about Total War, like that hour of the show, which ended up being quite long, just talking about those two things, was just so fun. And I feel like, I don't know, if anyone listens to that, you'll just feel the passion like gushing out of your ears. Like we were just having a great time with that. And then as you mentioned, the Arcane Retrospective is officially kicking off this week. Okay, I don't know what happened here. I set this thing to release Friday morning, and usually, with our podcast thing, it's usually pretty accurate. Then it went up this morning. I saw it on the feeds. I'm like, I don't know if someone changed this or if I fucked up. So I guess that's out now. You can go check that out. And Dark Messiah will be out next week, but if you go to Patreon, you can get it right now. And then, we're recording Dishonored next week. So that's just in full effect right now. So lots going on over in the gaming realm. And then tomorrow, I'm going to record John Wick Hex Retrospective. That'll go up
Nice.
on Patreon same day. So that'll go up tomorrow. And then I don't know when I'm going to put it on the main feeds, but before John Wick 4. So not too far away. But yeah, lots going on in the gaming side of things.
Yes, absolutely. Seems already got some popping off in the comments here. First of all, we got Taylor Field Survivor poll. I feel like I
hope you make
tickled
the
his
list,
fancy.
Taylor.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Sam, no, I have not seen the new episodes of You as soon as they came out yesterday. Unfortunately, I've been a little bit too busy. I had to watch Mando yesterday.
Wait, they come out on Wednesday? Since when?
I think it was probably like. I thought it was Thursday.
I thought
honestly,
I thought Netflix stuff usually dropped like Friday morning or something like that. But that's crazy.
Yeah, well, they did Wednesday on Wednesday, so that was a Wednesday
Oh,
release.
okay. Maybe they saw the numbers of that and they're like, we gotta copy that. Format.
Yeah, who knows? But
Yeah.
no, we'll be watching, or I'll be watching that. I don't
won't,
think
yeah.
you'll be. SBub like listening to us talk about Hitman. Well, mostly just you talking about Hitman, but there was a lot of passion there, and clearly, SBub's enjoyed it. So some good times.
Hey, I didn't know S-Bubs was a Hitman fan, but that actually does feel like a very S-Bubs kind of game.
Yeah.
Even though I only know S-Bubs to play Fortnite, but Hitman's a great selection. So thanks for listening to that.
Absolutely. I might be forgetting something, but I think we hit at least the majority of the plugs there. So without further ado, let's just jump into the episode here. So today we got I don't know what time it dropped, but I just watched this like less than 10 minutes ago for the first time. This is the final Super Mario Bros. Trailer. What do you think of this, Dylan? Does this sell you on the movie? Do you want to see it now? Did this trailer sell it for you?
Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm like, man, I do not need to see this thing at all,
Yeah.
especially that those trailers just have been playing at every movie I go to see, which I'm happy for.
yeah.
I love seeing that on the big screen, but I'm not even at a point where I'm like overexposed to it either. But this was another great trailer. I think I'm maybe if I'm gonna rank the trailers, I'd say the previous one did it more for me, perhaps, and then the first one is more of a teaser, I guess. So, but I don't know. I look, once again, I don't need any selling here. But I really like some of the humor we got here, some of the character moments, and I think I have a bit of a better idea now of like what to expect for I guess just like some of the general plot and whatnot. I was previously kind of confused on what's going on with Luigi, but now I think I know like what his role is going to be in this thing. So yeah, I another great trailer from Team Mario over there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree in the regards that this is probably like my least favorite trailer if I wanted to rank them, but it's not because it was a bad trailer or anything. It was just the teaser blew me away because it was the first time like I was seeing this world, and that was fantastic. And then the last trailer just showed me a lot of good juice, a lot of great content, and I thought that was really fun, especially just seeing like the first time viewing of like the Mario Kart just situation and all the
Yeah.
characters in their carts and stuff like that. And then this episode this episode, I'm there's too many shows I'm watching right now. I'm mixing it all together. But for this trailer, I feel like it was kind of just filling in like a little bit of the cracks between like what we've already seen, which is completely fine because I don't want to get spoiled on like major plot
Exactly.
points
Yeah.
at all. Like you already said, like I really didn't need to watch this trailer. I'm already seeing this movie day one. I cannot wait for it. And it was a pretty short trailer too. It was like a minute 30, which I feel like previously I've complained about trailers being way too long, especially on like the final trailer, because it's like stuff we had already seen and the new content that I feel like they could have just saved for the movie. So
Yeah,
like,
usually spoiling something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I really like the decision of having this trailer the way that it was, but to just rate the trailer, I feel like it didn't do too much for me to move the
Yeah.
barometer, other than just like the fact that it is the final trailer, which means like we're getting closer and closer to that release date. I am so excited for this movie. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I will pull up the trailer here and
Pull it
we'll
up.
do the old GV frame by not really frame by frame. It's just it sounds good to say it that way.
Mhm.
But
Did you watch the preamble with the actors? I skipped past.
no,
that
I
stuff.
didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or I watched the one with Anya and Jack Black were talking for a bit, but
Oh, okay. No, I did
Yeah.
not see that at all. I just jumped right into the
because
into the
technically this was
juice.
like part of a Nintendo Direct. They did a Nintendo
Yeah.
Direct that was like 10 minutes long. They had, I think, after the trailer too, they had a couple of the, I think, animators or directors, I don't know, someone who worked behind the scenes talking about the creation of Rainbow Road and stuff like this. But
Okay.
yeah, I just watched the trailer itself. They had to do some. It's Mario Day, so you know, they
Yeah.
wanted to have some big showcase.
No, absolutely. And well, actually, because the directs are normally on Tuesday, right, or Wednesday?
It's
Or
pretty
is it-
random.
Oh, is it just random? Okay.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? I feel like it can be any of those
Okay.
days. Yeah,
All
this one they just did for obviously March 10th.
Yeah.
Well, March 10th in Japan, but March 9th here.
Right. Because it was like Nintendo Direct Movie Edition or something. It had like a little
Right.
subtitle, which I would imagine this is like the first time that's happened. What other Nintendo movies would have come out since they've been doing directs? Probably none.
Yeah,
right?
no, I think this is the first time. It was funny though, like during that, Shigeru Miyamoto was like, and this is the first time that Keegan Michael Key will have been in a Nintendo Direct, and one of the other actors, I think maybe Charlie Day or something like, because like Chris Pratt had some random like, you know, video he took on his phone, and like they put that in a Nintendo Direct at one point. But that was like a big thing for him, like Keegan Michael Key in his first Nintendo Direct. The classic, you know, Nintendo goofiness.
Yeah. S Bubs in the comments, 0 out of 10 for no Mushroom Kingdom. Here we come. I love that line so much. I cannot.
We're
I'm gonna get
overexposed
so
to that
hyped.
one at this point. It's gonna turn into a meme. It already is. We need to not hear it again until the movie.
I'm excited to hear it in the movie at least. I feel like
Yeah.
that'll get me jazzed. And I think the last thing I'll say before I bring up the trailer is I think this is the first time I could actually hear Jack Black like doing the voice of Bowser. And like that's not a discredit. It was just like a certain like way that he does his like classic Jack Black like ferocious like you know, whether it's Kung Fu Panda or just Tenacious D. Like I feel like it's a very iconic thing that he
You
has.
just made the
and-
sound that Link makes.
yeah. I was trying to go deeper. I was
Yeah.
trying to channel my Bowser. But yeah, like overall though, I think the voice acting has all sounded really good.
Mhm.
I guess I could kind of hear Seth Rogen, but it's not so much where I just see or hear the actors and it kind of takes me out of it. I feel like the biggest one for that is maybe Anya Taylor-Joy, just because it like it's just her.
Yeah.
But I really like Anya Taylor-Joy, so it's not really bringing me
Exactly.
down too much. But I understand people's criticisms of it.
Mhm.
All right, here we go. We got starting off.
Yeah, they love this imagery of Bowser's castle, which for good reason. It looks amazing.
It does look amazing here. We got some captives, Luigi.
Yeah, so obviously we've seen Luigi in peril like pretty much any time we've seen him, and like I don't think we've even seen him like jumping around alongside Mario at any point in these trailers. But now I guess I like fully understand now. Like, okay, he's gonna be the damsel in distress, which is cool because then Peach kind of gets promoted, and she has that line right in this
Yeah.
trailer or something like that too. So obviously I like that they took that role and give her a more active role, and then make Luigi this guy because it kind of fits who that character is. But I also think the idea of him kind of having to buddy up with these other people that are in Bowser's dungeon is going to be like just some fun dialogue and fun moments and like a fun. I'm sure he might even like escape on his own through some little hijinks. But I mean, this fucking Luma, like that got me. I love the humor of this, like just death cult Luma going on here.
Yeah, this was a really cool scene of just seeing like the penguins from like the Penguin Kingdom here. Like we kind of saw what happened to them in the first teaser, and then I guess the first full trailer. It was a little bit more of that, but it's cool that like when you put all the trailers together, it kind of like has its own little story. I like because like we saw what happened to the penguins,
Right.
and then here they are with the after effect captured, not murdered or anything. It was a pretty vicious invasion that Bowser was going, so it's nice to see that they're all safe and sound. But yeah, I was gonna ask you what this was called from Super Mario Galaxy. Must be.
You got it, yeah. And
Yeah.
so I am curious about this because we talked about this. I think it was the second trailer. They're doing the Rainbow Road thing, and then I think Peach has a line that's like, "And think about all the other galaxies out there," something like
You're
that. And
right,
they're
yeah.
alluding to Super Mario Galaxy and or just a more outer space realm. To me, it feels like beyond just Rainbow Road. It feels like something else. And now we're getting a Luma, which is like I think to my memory the second like Mario Galaxy imagery in this movie. So yeah, it makes me even more curious if Rosalina's going to pop up or if it's just these kind of hints for now and they're saving that for a sequel. Like I don't know if they're going to do a post-credit scene. That seems like a very just easy post-credit scene thing to do, but
Yeah, no,
yeah.
absolutely.
Or
I
this
think-
could just be a stupid joke, and they just picked a character that's goofy and you'd not expect to say something like this. Could
Yeah.
be overthinking it, of course.
it could be that. I hope it is leading to something else because I want these Mario movies to just go on their own like cinematic universe and just really pop off and give us all the content. But I think it was you and me actually did the cast of kind of like predicting some things there, and I really think we will get Rosalina
Right.
in the movie or post credit scene. That's a maybe Kirklin told you so. I don't have the whole hashtag. I don't have a good track record for those
Yeah.
either. So hopefully
Well, I
this
guess
is my
yeah,
first.
just that they haven't announced the casting of that, but something like a voice actor is probably a lot easier to hide than
Yeah.
when we get like set photos from something, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
well, I guess this actor's in this project now.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get like people taking photos of them making the movie outside. It's like I see the voice actor for Rosalina.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah, there's the penguins, King
Mhm.
Penguin. Love the animation. I know it's just been
It's so good. The
consistent
lighting,
throughout.
insane.
Yeah. Guess I could have just played through while we were talking here, but Nintendo Illumination. Bowser on his throne.
Yep,
This was the
chilling
area where I
on.
feel like I could hear. I like this little one too. He's like, and whatever those things are.
I think they're just called spikies. I could be wrong on that, but who knows what the fuck they're called.
We got. Actually, I'm gonna bring it back here a little
Yeah,
bit.
those were-
because-
Yeah, go frame like scene by scene on these. I didn't even notice
On
this
all
fire
these?
flower.
Yeah, because like we'd seen Peach like with the ability kind of taken over, and I thought that was really cool the first appearance here. But I don't remember seeing this whole field, and it's just again it's a really beautiful shot. I feel like the lighting just looks gorgeous.
Looks like the astral plane a little bit.
Yeah, it does. We got the Black Panthers like up in the tree.
And yeah, Peach has the fire flower dress on, like the white and red. So that's cool too.
Yeah, I like that that color tone, and I mean later on in this trailer we see another character
Yeah,
behold
I'm
the
excited to talk about
fire
that.
ability, but just this looks really beautiful, and I'm excited to kind of hear more of these two dialogue because I don't know, I feel like that like I'm expecting some good Mario and Peach moments, but I'm curious like what the dynamic is going to be there if it because it's not like he's just saving her like it's kind of always been in the games. She's really. I mean, she just seems like a lot more of a relevant character so far throughout these trailers, and the
Yeah,
fact
she
that
can like control an army. She could be that person, like
Yeah.
the general for the Mushroom Kingdom army or something like that.
Lady Galadriel vibes right
Yeah,
there. I like
pretty
it.
much, yeah.
Blonde hair and everything. Oh, we got quick shots. That was
Yeah,
cool
this
to see.
sand. I don't know if we've seen that. Oh, I mean, this is great. This just. Oh, dude, I just realized this is like Bob on Battlefield from Super Mario 64 with the cannon, and then there's that
Oh
island
shit.
that has like
Yeah.
that same circular thing. Yeah, once again, I did not pause every frame here, but that's the vibe I'm getting here, and that's pretty
Mhm.
exciting. I like that. The music also, like, we don't have any sound on. The music
Yeah.
of this trailer is fantastic. Once again, taking classic Mario themes, making them bigger Hollywood versions, but
Mhm.
like enough that it's recognizable, but enough that it's creating its own identity. It's perfect.
I hope there's some like really good like just songs that get in your head, but they're like so catchy that you enjoy them, not so catchy that you just hate them. Kind of like when like Minions came out. I think it was Minions or Despicable Me, but like that Justin Timberlake like Happy. Oh no, that was Pharrell Williams, the Happy song. I just remember that was always on the radio and always heard like just popping off, and I just loved it. So I hope there's
Mhm.
some good tunes that come out of
Yeah.
this movie that just slap.
And then this desert. I mean, desert is a very classic biome in Mario games, of course,
Mhm.
as they are in many games. But specifically here, like the structures here, the pillars, to me have a lot of the Super Mario Odyssey aesthetic to the desert, where it was more like kind of a Mexico theme with like sombreros and things like that. Was kind of the design of that particular world, which is not always what they do for the desert world in Mario games. So I feel like that's what this is referencing. And I can't remember. I know in Odyssey there are things floating in the sky in that world that you go to. I can't remember if they're upside down pyramids, like is shown here, if it's that direct of a correlation. But there was definitely things in the sky, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was what was going on there too.
Yeah, I'm getting major. I mean, we were just talking about Warhammer this week, but major Warhammer vibes
Mm.
from the floating pyramids, because that's. I'll try and find a quick image here, but oh yeah, something like. Oh, my screen sharing's a little bit.
It's all
Sorry,
janky.
sorry. I gotta show you.
We're working on it. Yeah, in Odyssey, it's an upside down pyramid. Great, thank you, Espos. But yeah, that's cool. That's very much a inspired by Odyssey moment there.
Look at that. So
Yeah,
they got
that's
like
cool.
floating. That's like the Black Pyramid of Nagash, which is just a really sweet image. So to see it in the Mario trailer, it got me
That's
hyped.
That's very cool. Yeah, so I
goodness.
it's interesting that they're like, I don't think there's another Mario game that really has some of these exact same vibes going on for the desert. So it's
Mhm.
cool that they are referencing that. I'm also, I guess that game has been out for a long time. I think about like how long this movie's been in development and when that game came out. They could have access to behind the scenes things, but I guess that game did come
Right.
out in 2017 at this point, so probably tons of time.
Tons of time. Alright, moving on. Got this again, like all these like epic like shots of either like the troops. There was the one earlier where all of Bowser's troops were just like leaving his castle, and it was just like a flood. Just a really like beautifully shot image, and I'm
Mhm.
expecting a lot of those scenes throughout the movie. I just want a really tasty looking movie.
Yeah.
Where just like it's a visual masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, here it is. Flame on. He's got like the white effect on the tie. I like that. I didn't notice like
Yeah,
his whole body change.
to my memory, I've never seen this Donkey Kong before. I think this is a new creation for this movie. I'd love to be proven wrong there, because like even in Smash, when he has like a red costume, like I
Yeah.
don't think it quite looks like this. So and like I can't think of a game that Donkey Kong would be getting a fire flower. So I love it. I think it's cool. It's he's kind of got like the frosted tips a little bit.
Yeah, he
going on there.
does.
But it's fun to see.
I like
And
it
it's
too. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say like the red isn't like what you were saying in like the Smash game where he's just a red monkey now. It's like it's got this like kind of flame effect to it where it looks
Mhm.
like an ember or something. Glowing.
Yeah.
Again,
definitely.
great attention to detail.
And I like the white tie is
Yeah.
cool too. And
Mario
I mean,
eats
we're
a
kind of
mushroom.
shown here that, of course, these guys are battling in the last trailer, but they're already kind of working or this could be a competition, or they're working together.
True. Oh, we're going quick.
But I guess I'm not surprised to see them working together. It could be one of those things. It's like maybe in the sequel movies when they team up, but I think I would predict that Donkey Kong maybe brings his troops in and helps fight against Bowser in this movie, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because we saw a lot of Did we? Yeah, in the last trailer for the Mario Kart sequence, like we saw a lot of fellow DK monkey people, right, on the
Man,
carts.
I can't recall because I don't think the only other Kong that is voice cast that we know of is like Cranky Kong, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there exactly. I mean, because we saw like their kingdom, so I'm sure there's characters in the background, but like I don't know if Diddy Kong, like that might be. Or
Yeah.
wait, is Diddy Kong cast? I can't remember. I don't know. I don't think
I
he
don't
is.
know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart popped in my head, but I feel like that was a.
It's only because we've talked about that. I don't think it's actually real.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Taylor Field in the chat. Do we see Donkey Kong use a mushroom become King Kong in size? I feel like it would have to be a really big mushroom, right? Like not just a regular
Mhm.
red mushroom. It would have to be a supersized one. Yes, Bubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were mostly Kongs on the carts.
I know it could be some defect mushroom or a super one that they, infused for this purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So they could do that, but I think Taylor just has a hard on for kaiju, so I think that's why he's thinking about that.
Nothing wrong with that though.
No,
Kaijus are awesome.
of course, it's all good with me.
Saw a little butt drop there. I fast forward through.
Mm-hmm.
This was a cool little scene too. I didn't pause it like on my first initial viewing, but it seems like their little garage for their vehicle and like the little like 3 spindle things on the bottom. It reminds me when you're playing Mario Kart and you're kind of like choosing like your wheels, your cart, and then like your aerial things.
Good
so
point. Yeah,
great,
definitely.
like just gaming vibes there. I liked it a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah, I really like the look of this. This is not what I would have expected in terms of the Mario Kart garage, because normally that's just an ambiguous thing in space, right? Like you never
Yeah.
actually go to a place to customize your vehicles because there isn't really that level of it. It's very simple.
Mhm.
But it is cool for them to like, okay, what would that area actually look like if it were to be brought to life? And I'm guessing this is like part of the Kong Kingdom,
Yeah,
just based on the aesthetics of what's going on here.
it's very temple like
Yeah.
with like the shape of everything there. Like we saw some floating temples in the distance and floating in the sky, but I definitely feel like this would be separate. But it was these 3 kind of walking in the desert, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe this is after that fact, but
Right.
gotta wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Engine. And just seeing like all the vehicles look so good.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Rainbow
So
Road
over the
looking
top,
awesome.
so fun.
Yeah. It's like a
Different
GTA moment here
items.
too. He like
Yeah.
totally just jacks this Koopa's cart after bouncing off this guy.
You can't do
I'll-
that in the games.
Yeah, I
That would
like
be a
how-
fun mechanic though, in like a new Mario Kart.
Hey man, they got to innovate sometime, right? Just incorporate where you can just.
Every once in a while, they
people's
throw in a
carts.
double dash where it's like, okay, let's throw it out the window and come up with a new concept. So I would love to see GTA version of like Mario Kart where you can take people's vehicles. That would be fun.
I like this moment too when he pops on the head and like
Yeah.
instantly just turns into the shell.
That's a great moment. for
Really,
sure.
really cool. And then he picks it up too, like he's got his weapon. I just love that detail.
Mhm. Perfect timing too. Some new Mario Kart DLC just came out yesterday.
Hell yeah!
New courses.
I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm excited to jump back in there. Only in theaters, April 5th.
Yeah, they moved it up by 2 days, right? The release date of this guy.
Oh, I didn't even catch that
It's
detail, but
It's like a Tuesday now, I think, because of that.
it's
Wednesday.
kind of a weird day. Everything's dropping on
Wednesday.
Wednesday now.
Yeah, so I guess it was but that might be Tuesday night, right? Because normally movies come
Yeah,
out
you're right.
Friday, but then we're seeing
Yep.
them Thursday night.
No, you're right.
So a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
2 days.
Anyways, I thought I'm pumped for it.
Yeah, me
We're less than a month away now. Holy moly. Because it's March 9th right now.
Mhm.
March 10th in Japan. You're just
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, it's good that they didn't show too much in this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of it was just focused on the cart, and then these
Yeah.
quick shots. But even these quick shots, I didn't like pause on them. But when we really did, it's like, okay, I'm actually pretty excited to see some of these different worlds. Whether it is to Test Bub's point, like a montage kind of thing, or if it is more extended sequences, whatever it is, I cannot wait to find out.
Yeah, and I like in closing, I feel like I am expecting a like a bigger moment to happen in the movie that wasn't showcased here at all. And just if that does happen, which I do think it will, credit to the marketing team for not spoiling that, because I feel like that can really just damage my not like overall enjoyment of the movie, but just kill the buzz, because I feel like it it limits the amount of holy shit moments in the theater of like I
Mhm.
like gasping. I did not expect to see that at all because I had already seen it in the or I have not seen it in the trailer. So yeah, I thought it was good lack of content that they showed here,
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
which is a weird thing to say, sort of. Good lack of
It
content.
makes sense.
All right, if you have nothing else to say,
Nothing else.
we will take our first ad break here, and then we'll be back to unravel some scoops and rumors. So be right back. Alrighty, we are back, and we got some Venom stuff to talk about. Venom 3. Dylan, have you seen Venom 2 or 1 or any of them?
Well, I've seen one. I was on the
Okay.
review with you, right?
Oh, right. We were all in the theater together. It
Come
was so many
on.
moons ago.
Iconic. The fish tank scene, the I
Tater
can't remember
tot
another
scene.
scene, but no, I still have not seen 2. So I feel like when we're getting into this rumor here, I'm gonna need you to help me.
Yeah.
If there's any clues for some of this stuff from the second one, but yeah.
I've only seen the second one once. I really, really did not like it at all. So maybe that's a big reason why I haven't revisited it. It's not really fresh in my mind. I just really didn't like a lot of the decisions there. But both the first movie and the second movie, one thing I can at least take out of it is that I love the look of Venom. I think they did a good job at just the CGI effect of him. It looks really good. Looks really menacing. But that's kind of where it ends, unfortunately, because I just don't really love a lot of the decisions that character makes.
Yep.
But alas, here we are. So
Mhm.
the little title here is Venom 3 to feature Peter Parker. ... with a twist. That's a good little clickbait title. Should have just titled the episode that.
Dude, clickbait is getting out of control these days. That one is actually not that bad, but my God, I've had a hard time on the internet these days. And then like half these websites are so ad ridden you can't even
Yeah.
click on them to read the thing because there's so many roadblocks. It's a mess out there.
Oh man, and like especially the ones where you like it'll be like a small amount of content and then you have to click the next page. And I learned what that is every time they click the next page, they get like an ad revenue like thing.
Yeah, it's a
because
new click. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an
So it's just
impression.
so when I learned about that, anytime I go on a website and it it has that system, I'm like, fuck this, I'm closing this. I don't even want to know about this article,
Mm-hmm.
because as you said, they're mostly just clickbaity and going for the clicks. But here we are. I'm gonna read off this quote, which is quote: Venom learns through the aforementioned multiversal hive mind that you probably aren't too aware about. I feel like they might have brought that up in the first Venom, the fact that they just have this planet with symbiotes, and the way that the symbiotes work is kind of a hive mind situation. It's
Okay.
been a situation too in the comics too, kind of how I think mostly through like the King Black, like more recent couple of years ago now, but the like the big king and god of the symbiotes, it's kind of they all are commanded through him.
Okay.
So yeah, Venom learns through the aforementioned multiversal hive mind that Peter Parker / Spider-Man is destined to kill them. Apparently it's referencing Raimi's Spider-Man 3, which is kind of an interesting thought there. This is what earlier leaks were referring to when they said that Venom Eddie would Venom / Eddie, that's not his last name, Venom Eddie, would explore the multiverse. They're simply looking through it via symbiote vision, which is kind of interesting. You don't have to like worry about getting a big budget of like showing this multiversal travel. It's just kind of like an internal thing. I think it's actually a decent way to handle it, because it's easy enough to understand like what's happening in that instance. So
Well, okay,
yeah.
very quick to dig on
Yeah.
one thing there. And you're saying Peter Parker is destined to kill them. Is the them
Mhm.
referring to like Eddie and Venom, how they'll revert themselves
Yeah.
as like multiple people, or is that like the hive mind? Like Peter Parker's going to kill
Ooh.
the hive mind, because that might be a bit like, well, how do you expect him to do that as like a person who
That's
lives on Earth? And in this
yeah.
Venom verse, there isn't like the Guardians of the Galaxy that we
Right.
know of and stuff like that, right?
The way that I took it, it was them as in like Venom and Eddie.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because that would be
That makes more sense.
what like Tobey's Spider-Man took out in Spider-Man 3. But I don't know if maybe they go that direction. I feel like they would be bringing in the entire symbiote army though to take him out.
Or maybe
If
it's
that
one and
was
the
that
same.
case.
If this hive mind does exist, if like to kill Venom is to kill the hive
Yeah,
mind, though there would
true.
be more of it, but
At least weaken them or something.
yeah.
I feel like throughout the Venom 2 movies now, it was kind of from my memory at least, I feel like it was going that direction, that Venom and Eddie are kind of like, they kind of separated themselves from that. Like they are really their own neutral party
Okay.
here. It's not just like Venom is representing, team symbiote or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then going on, apparently Venom persuades Eddie to kidnap, which is apparently right now a 10-year-old Peter Parker of their universe, which wouldn't be like the same as Toby, in order to change their future. But Eddie refuses to harm him. That's been another thing that's kind of been the balance, right? Eddie doesn't want Venom to just kill people. Venom just wants to eat heads.
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate that line. Eddie/Venom wind up forming a bond with the 10-year-old Peter, which is kind of an interesting idea, and must protect him when Detective Patrick Mulligan becomes Toxin. Goes absolutely insane. Apparently, it's attributed to the imperfect symbiosis between the two, and
Okay.
sets out to destroy all monsters, including Venom. And for some reason, Peter, the very innocent 10-year-old Peter at this point in time.
Right, because this would be pre-Spider Bite, we're assuming, right? It's like a
Yes.
Minority Report thing where it's like, let's take him out before he
Yeah.
becomes the bad guy, or before he becomes Spider-Man.
And like the line there too, that they fought, like they just wind up forming a bond with the 10-year-old Peter. I feel like it's almost like a butterfly effect thing where like if Peter is interacting with these two, like what would make him go down the, like if he already knows that there's like a Spider Man like creature out there, like how, like that must change so much about his own like upbringing and like mindset, and like I feel like that just kind of veers his river in a different direction. But again, maybe that's just because of the different multiverse thing where you don't need to have the exact same
Yeah.
Peter in that sense.
And when I think of the multiverse and when how it relates to directly Spider-Man, like I think of Madame Web. I personally don't really know much about the Venom hive mind backstory element, but do you think there's any connection there specifically because that movie is
Yeah.
currently filming or was filming like in the last few months, so obviously that's coming out probably before Venom 3.
Yeah, I think yes.
Okay.
I think yes. I think there were some set photos where people were speculating that it seemed to be like the early 2000s era. So like set in the same universe, just not like the same time frame, I would imagine. And like if I remember correctly, like I think it was kind of rumored that like the Madam Web, yeah, to Superbad Mike's point right here, the rumored plot to be Madam Web protecting a young Peter.
Right.
So
It lines up.
yeah, absolutely. But just like the time frame. So I'm curious. I'm not expecting like a time travel situation there, but
Mhm.
this Peter's just getting a lot of protection, even though he just an innocent young boy, 10-year-old, not even Spider-Man yet.
Well, he becomes very very important. So I guess that makes sense, and I'm sure that's been something tried in the comics before. But I guess maybe one thing we should also mention, like this is a very low tier rumor.
This
like
is a C tier, yes.
and even these Madame Web things, like I guess looking at this, like this is a pretty logical kind of rumor for someone to make if they're trying to make a falsehood based on what's going on with Madame Web. But
Yeah.
yeah, the potential connections there are interesting because so far we've got just very surface level connections between the Sonyverse stuff. With I guess Morbius had like post credit things, right? It was pretty much the only way those were connected in a meaningful way.
Yeah, it was like
then Craven
Michael
we'll
Keaton
find
like just
out in
popping through
fall.
like the
Yeah.
multiverse or whatever. It's like this is my world now. Like this is where I line.
Yep.
Very
God,
strange.
what a
and
weird
crazy.
scene that was. I haven't thought about that in probably a year at this point. Whenever Morbius came out, that was strange.
I remember going through that entire movie and like not hating it, but still it was an interesting movie. And yeah, you get to the end credits and it's like, oh, I can't wait to see what they do here, like what juice they pull out, and that's what we got. It was like, what? Really? That's really the decision that they went with.
So, okay, but taking the Madame Web stuff out of it, based on
Yeah.
your foggy memory of Venom 2, because it's been a while, you haven't rewatched it, does this feel like a logical conclusion or a logical, I guess, direction for the character and maybe the trilogy movie to go? Did it feel like that's where it's going towards? Like, let's say kind of in retrospect, now let's say this is true. Does it feel like, oh, actually that does make a lot of sense. They were headed there. They were setting up some things, or does this feel... Because to me, in a way, it almost feels like a bit too out there. But once again, I haven't seen the second one, so I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe it tracks.
Yeah, like as you mentioned, very foggy memory on that movie, other than Woody Harrelson's performance of Carnage, which is probably the worst part of that movie. Um, but again, like, and maybe someone in the comments can kind of fill me in here, but I believe that it ended off in kind of a rounded out way where, like, you don't, like, it's not like a huge cliffhanger. It's not like he's on the run or something that, like, it has to carry on from that event. So it kind of is set up to just go on to a new adventure. He kind of like split through the multiverse sort of for like a moment in what was it? No Way Home now? I don't
Yeah.
even remember where it was.
No Way
Yeah.
Home.
So I feel like this like plot it could definitely work and be palatable in my opinion
Okay.
of it. I think it would be fun even if like Peter isn't Spider-Man yet because he's so young. I think it's still fun to have that Eddie Venom interaction with the character. I think that's something that I've really wanted to see. Like it will be not what I've wanted because I wanted to see like the classic pairing between Spider-Man and Venom there. But yeah, it's I think the balancing act of having Eddie really like, I mean, I was gonna say like have Eddie versus Venom trying to like stop Venom from like having this hunger to kill this individual, but also like that's kind of been the entire movie so far, where like
Mm-hmm.
it is the balancing act in that situation. Um, I think the interaction with Toxin is interesting because that's been a character that I'm not too familiar with, other than just knowing that it's extremely powerful of like an entity. I think
Okay.
it, at least at the point when I was like reading about the story or the character, like he was just the strongest symbiote. And yeah, just really really cool costume and everything. And if we see him done like to the CGI level that they've done for Venom. Even Carnage, I feel like Carnage looked good. I really didn't like the audio of the character because it was way too loud in my theater. It was like hurting my
Mm-hmm.
ears. But I still think it would be cool to see Toxin in there. Obviously, the big gloomy cloud over your head is like, but how is like the character going to be done? Because if it's the same way that they did
Yeah.
Carnage,
Exactly.
that could really bring things down. Because Carnage was another character that I was super super fascinated with, and then excited to see him in the live action, and extremely extremely disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think on paper, like it's really not deterring me away. Like I think it's like, okay, yeah, let's give this a shot. But like thinking back to their track record, I don't have a lot of faith in there. And like Superbad Mike said, like I don't trust Sony enough to pull this off.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing for me. At the end of the day, some of these ideas here sound all right, but that's under the layer of the quality of the Sony verse, and particularly, I mean, I can only speak on Venom One. It was a funny movie, but not in an intentional way. It wasn't very good, and everything I've heard about Venom Two is that it was just even worse than that. So it's like, okay, the quality is not proven to really be able to like really deliver on any of these ideas anyway. And then that's under the layer too of like that's just not even what I want from Spider-Man and these characters. I
Yeah.
don't want this weird Sonyverse style thing where we're just tackling these Spidey villains and these one-off weird adventures. So that's the thing for me. It's always going to be between those beneath those two layers until it's proven otherwise. If Craven's great and if Madame Web is great, then maybe I'll get past that one layer of the quality thing, and then maybe they've shown me like, okay, we can actually do something interesting in this Marvel world without Spider-Man around, with all these roadblocks of not having access to all these other characters that they would have because Disney has everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They could get out of there, but they got to dig out of that hole first before I'm too excited. With that being said, I want to go see the next Venom when it comes out in theaters. I will catch up and watch Venom 2 at some point to get ready for that. Venom 2 came out when I was in my hiatus era there, but like I will see it at some point. I just right now I don't really have anything, pushing me to watch it. But when the third one's coming out, I'll definitely check it out. I'm gonna go check out Craven. I'm gonna go check out Madam Web. So these things aren't great, but I still really want to see them just for the like morbid curiosity element of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what you said there too about like Madam Web, I think that's a big thing for me too. Is like depending on how good or bad that is, that'll really kind of I think sway my barometer meter on like how
Yeah.
I'm feeling on this. Because like
Especially if
as
it
a
directly ties into what's going on in Venom
yeah
in some way.
yeah absolutely. So if I think that movie is at least good or great. I think that is a really big like setup for what this is, because as I already said, like on paper, this is interesting enough to me to want to see this. Even being the one that, although I love Venom, I mean he's right here with me on every podcast. I just yeah, that second movie really hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
um,
The Venom DLC in Midnight Sun's really good. He's
Really
a really
good?
fun
Nice.
character. I really like Eddie Brock, and the levels were fun too. So, if
Can't wait to
anyone's needing
eventually
some
get in
Venom
there.
content in your life, go. I mean, I'm sure there's a million comics you could read, but also go check out Midnight Suns.
I got the seasons pass, but again, that's a little hiatus till my arcane adventuring
Mhm.
is
I think you got to be later in the game
done.
before you can access the
Yeah.
DLC anyway, so you might not be able to get Venom yet. But anyway, quick aside.
He's going nowhere. All right, yeah. Again, it's just a C tier rumor. Don't take this to the bank, listeners.
Mm-mm.
But if things update, if this is completely debunked or whatnot, we will be here to update
sure.
you. All right, so moving on to the next topic, we got Joker 2 to feature multiple Jokers, question mark. Dylan, did you see the image of we had Joaquin Phoenix in like what appeared to be some clown makeup? I don't know what other makeup it could have been. Next to a character that very much looked like his Joker from the first one, where it was like the red suit and like similar hair.
Right.
But like different enough to not just be like a stunt double. I think it was very much like another
stunt double. Like he's
character.
wearing a different outfit too, right? So it's like if you're doing
Yeah.
a stunt double situation, well, I guess it could
It'd be a
stunt
poor
double
choice if it's supposed to
situation.
be a stunt double. But
Hmm.
yeah, so what we're saying here is apparently there's an image on. Apparently, I saw it. There's definitely an image online, but
Mhm.
it's Phoenix on the road with other actors dressed like him, but it's unknown if this is either in his mind or if it's a part of the Joker cult, if it's an imposter, like a fake Joker that's just taken his
Yeah.
name. I mean, we saw a lot of Jokers at the end of the first Joker
Right.
movie.
So it makes
Um,
sense if we're going that direction then.
Yeah, and that's kind of where like my thoughts initially jumped to, is that this is just either a super big fan of what the Joker was kind of representing, and this is them just really embodying that character, I guess, going forward. But yeah, because this like the first Joker really plays on like the psyche element, and there was scenes in there that was entirely in the Joker's head, and that was very very well done, but also just like chilling to experience those scenes in the moment. I don't know. Something like this, I'm kind of taking it to be the character is actually there, but maybe it's just a part of like the Joker cult's
Mhm.
team. What do you think when you see that?
Yeah, I mean it's that, or I mean it could just be a stunt double thing, and we're just getting an out of context image. Of course, could always be that. But yeah, I think there's, if we're like really diving in directly on the image that exists, like the guy who's with him, the Joker that's with him, is like wearing the suit, got the full makeup, and it's looking pristine. Like, and I feel like that the person's even like kind of just bigger and like looks stronger and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, because obviously Arthur Fleck, he's a very just like almost like anorexically skinny person, right? Like he's not well physically, mentally. He's just not well in general. So I think that like this very well could be something that it's in his mind, and this is like in his head, his idealized version of himself, his perfect version of himself, and that's how he sees himself. Whether that is like it's standing beside him, like an out of body sort of situation, and he's putting himself into that, or it's like you get shots where he's envisioning that, it goes back and forth or something weird like that. So I feel like it could go either way. Opposite to Venom, I just have so much faith in this project because of the quality of the first one, that whether it's Joker cult thing, which immediately, like, I don't honestly, when I think of Joker 2, there isn't really like any plot stuff. Like obviously Lady Gaga being in there is like, okay, that's amazing, and I'm excited to see that. But other than that, like there isn't really anything so far that's gotten me super hyped on it, because I'm once again, I'm not really a DC guy, and I don't really care too much about Joker. I just love that movie. So I feel like it's one of those things that I really got to get to seeing some trailers, or really I think for me it's going to be when I'm in the theater and I'm a half an hour in, I'm like, oh man, I love this and this is great. But yeah, I don't know if like anything like this, it just gets my mind flowing on like the possibilities and wanting to think about these different. Oh, what could this
Yeah.
be? I don't know if I have one that I prefer. I'm just kind of like whatever they choose to do. I have full
Yeah.
faith in them based on what they gave me previously.
Yeah, I think I'm exactly like you in that sense because I remember seeing this image when it was dropped on the Discord however long
Mm-hmm.
ago, and it really did nothing to me because it's like this could be so many different things. It could be, as we've already stated, a stunt double. It could be in his head. It could be the Joker cult. It could be an imposter. It could be all these things. But it doesn't really matter until I see the film, and to your
Mm-hmm.
point, like I have so much faith that they'll be able to do that right. So yeah, this I might be boring, but I don't have a lot really to say on this one other than just I can't wait to see it. It's nice to see it's in in development and we're getting closer and closer to that date. Because yeah, that first Joker movie that really just that blew me away. That
Mm-hmm.
I yeah that one
I
left.
have not rewatched it in a while. I should put that on again at some point.
I should too. I think I've
Probably closer to Joker 2 is when I'll do it actually, but yeah, I haven't. I did watch it a couple times, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
I've only seen it the once in theaters, and it's the type of movie that's not really like you got to be in the right mindset, I think, to put it on. It's not like just a nice fall asleep movie or anything like that. At least for me, it's taxing emotionally
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
mentally. I think so. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there goes Joker 2. Um,
Joker 2.
and staying in that sort of realm, we're gonna go on to some Armor Wars talk, which is Dylan, how do you feel if Ultron is the main villain of Armor Wars?
Armor Wars to this point has been a project we've heard rumblings about more and more as it's probably ramping up to production at some point here. And I think one of the things that excited me was the switch from it being a TV show to being a movie. But I think since that point, I think this is the thing that gets me the most excited for it so far. And if true, actually, yeah, like really would probably bump it up a few notches on my excitement ranking that we did. And Armor Wars was one of my lowest things on there. But this would
Mm-hmm.
like bump it up a few slots for sure. I know Ultron is. I'm not even going to say controversial in Avengers 2. I feel like people just don't like that character. The comic book fans don't like that version of the character. Maybe non comic book deep cut fans just aren't really into that rendition and what's going on there. But I really liked it. I mean, he's not like my favorite villain by any means, but he's like up there. I thought it was pretty solid. And then obviously the what if like episode that's like okay,
Oh
this is a
yeah.
very cool different version of Ultron that I'd be down to see as well. So I'd be very excited to see them bring back this character. I think that gets the excitement up for Armor Wars, and it gives them a chance to almost try again in a way because I know I'm very much an outlier in terms of being a big fan of that character and how it was used already.
Mm-hmm.
So to have another swing at it would be fantastic to give everyone another chance to fall in love with this character in a different way. So yeah, I
Yeah.
have a few questions on how it would be used, but yeah, what is your just initial take on that?
I think this is really fun. I think Ultron. Yeah, in Age of Ultron, I didn't love the performance. I feel like all I could hear was Robert California in the robot, which kind of I don't know. It didn't take me out enough because I still think the overall idea of the villain was really good, and the look of him was really
Yeah,
like
looks good.
intimidating and imposing. And it's the type of character too that like if they completely destroyed him and he's just back for Armor Wars, I feel like that's so easy for me to take in. It's not like it's a character that was just decapitated on screen or something. Like it's an AI. Like that's so easy to
Mm-hmm.
just bring back into the mix. Also just like the way that he's able to kind of take control of like technology and stuff, it would be very detrimental to our characters in the armor that is all basically digital and electronic. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the pairing there fits. And to your point, I think it's a great opportunity to take another swing with that character. And because I feel like I didn't really fear Ultron until that What If episode, and now it's like, wow,
Right.
this like Ultron is the scariest villain because of that viewing. And yeah, I think it would add some spice onto Armor Wars that I think you're not alone in a lot of people's like overall hype for it just being lower.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's not too high for it, but I'm still excited to see those characters interact on screen together. And should have mentioned too, this is just like a C tier
Yeah.
rumor as well, so don't take this to the bank or anything. But still an interesting idea.
Do you think they bring James Spader back? the voice cast, or do you think because it's an AI and he can just create a new voice for
Yeah.
himself, do you think they go down that route, and that way they could have like someone with a different tone, a different style,
Yeah.
and then just creating some more separation from that? I think that would be a recast that they could do. That it wouldn't be a weird thing like when they did to Hulk, or speaking of Armor Wars, to Rhodey for Iron Man
Yeah.
2. Like it could just be like, oh, it makes sense. Like Ultron has rebuilt himself and he has a new voice.
Yeah, that's a good question. I could see both. I could see it being one of those situations that you're not wrong. It's really easy to like just palette that, I guess, that the
Mhm.
voice is different, because you could even have a quick little moment where he has like the James Spader voice and he just like kind of tweaks it to be someone
Yeah.
else. I feel like that's a very easy ability for an AI to have. And I'm curious if they would just like really want to make that decision, like if the overall criticisms, like the voice wasn't the issue. I think with the character of Ultron, just for me personally, because I just watched so much of The Office, I just thought of Robert California and how crazy of a character that is, and it just like that's
Yeah.
my own thing I'm taking into the movie though. I can't, like, he's an actor. I'm obviously gonna hear his voice,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not really for or against it though. I'm not
Okay.
I'm not super against bringing him back, because I didn't. I didn't. Maybe like. Yeah, I think it's.
Who did the voicing for that in What If? I mean, I guarantee
thought it was
not
him.
James Spader. Was it still James Spader?
I'm probably
Let
wrong,
me look it up.
but I don't know. I thought I remember hearing the Robert California isms.
I mean, they try and get sound-alikes, right?
True. Yeah.
Ross Marquand.
Okay.
Marquand, who I'm guessing is not an actor we'd recognize, but is more known for voice acting.
S. Bub said he really liked the Ultron voice. There you go. And like, he's not alone. I'm sure a lot of people really love that version.
Apparently, he also did the voice for Red Skull in Infinity War.
Oh wow.
Which that is very interesting. I did not realize that.
He's got some range. My gosh.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Ultron. Where does Ultron show up in Multiverse of Madness?
Like the Ultron bots, I guess.
Oh, okay. So he did the voice there.
Okay.
They just, I don't know if they would, like, they could do a thing where they cast someone who's a bigger star,
Mm-hmm.
because then they can slap that on the poster, like The
Right.
Rock is voicing Ultron. But
Don't give me
they like they could just switch over to this guy, I think.
Yeah.
And that could work well.
Cause when you asked me, like I thought I remember hearing James Spader's voice in that episode, because as you said, like they definitely have those sound alikes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like that could be it too. Where kind of like what I pitched, where it sounds like the Ultron that we've already experienced, and then maybe to just mess with someone, he like changes his voice to a completely different character. I think
Yeah.
I think that's a good option too, because it shows how vulnerable people can be, because they could hear a voice that they trust, but it's actually Ultron. I feel like it's a really good deception way for him to do it.
2 other questions for you, because this is such an interesting thing to me. Do you think there's any, because in the What If episode, Ultron is like breaking through the multiverses.
Mhm.
I forget how that episode ends. Does he just die, or like I forget how the episode actually concludes? I feel like he's still around, but I can't remember what happens.
Yeah,
maybe he just gets shut out into his world or something like that.
Someone in the comments will probably fill us in here, but I'm pretty sure the Watcher was able to just kind of like prison him in like another dimension or something, but he's like on like the pursuit back.
Do you think because of the ability to bust through multiverses and stuff, that they could, like, that's the way they frame it in the story, is that this other Ultron comes in? Because I think that's something they could get away with, where, okay, people recognize this character from Age of Ultron, but he's different now. They could have, like, for the people who watch What If, it's a cool connection, but if not, they can probably turn it around in a way that audiences can just pick up on this new character, whether or not they've even seen Age of Ultron, and just like immediately kind of get him based on some setup there. Like, do you think there's any chance that they bring that Ultron over, which I think is pretty much unanimously loved, though it's less people will have seen that than have seen Avengers Age of Ultron?
I'm gonna say no, just because of like the power level that he
He's
has.
pretty high power,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think like anyone could really take him out. Like he's like stronger than an Avengers level threat in at least that appearance. But
That'd be a way to make Armor Wars hype as fuck though. If you get like Doctor Strange in there, you get Shang-Chi hanging out.
that's when Thanos finally comes back into the mix,
Yeah,
and
they
he just
bring
like one shots him.
They bring Thanos from What If back. They bring like the blonde Nebula from What If, and like just
Yeah.
get like this ragtag team of weirdos. That would be. I mean,
I would
I'm already
love
going to
that.
go to the
Yeah.
theater for Armor Wars because I do that kind of thing. But the button seats mentality that would do it for you. I think.
Absolutely. And like
Mhm.
maybe if they do go that route, like I think it's pretty easy to write in like he just like lost a lot of power to like get back into the realm or something like
He has some capacitator on him, and then he like unlocks it for the final fight, and then they beat him or something like that.
exactly. He blew his motivator.
Uh-huh.
That's from our Armando talk from last night.
Armando, the motivator.
Mundo the motivator. But I don't, because I feel like I'm still, I feel like it's kind of, and I might be wrong here, but kind of inevitable to eventually get some What If crossover into the MCU, and not just like a fun little Easter egg thing that's like, oh, that was from What If. Like I guess Captain Britain would have been a situation
I
like
guess
that.
so. Yeah, good point.
But I don't know. I feel like a little bit more of a relevance in What If will
Yeah, I
eventually
mean,
make it into live action.
I'm trying because Armor Wars doesn't have a date yet, right? Like I don't think it was thrown on
No.
that slate, so we don't really. I guess it would not be part of this phase, and would be the multiverse saga. But it could be something that comes out like before Secret Wars or before Kang Dynasty. Is kind of hard to stomach that, but I mean we talked about recently how delays, and the
Yeah.
more Avengers gets delayed, the more you need to throw other things in there, and Armor Wars could be up to bat. So I don't know.
Mhm.
There could be some connections there that connect some other what ifness. Not that I don't think they want to go too deep into that, but I think for some of these things, Ultron's a good example of one that could be a connection to what if, but you don't. It's not required reading, and so the general audience can still understand and feel like they're not missing a puzzle piece out of that. Also, because we talked about this recently too, that Scarlet Witch kind of on the bench right now. It seems like Elizabeth Olsen kind of wants it that way. Like, leave me here, and then I'll, come back stronger at some point in the future, but wants to take a bit of a break from the character, which makes sense after WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness and even, two Avengers movies back to back.
There's a lot of that character, like in a
yeah,
string of time. So
a
totally
ton of it.
understand.
And she's also in a spot right now where she's presumed dead, but obviously she's going to come back as most characters do. But with that leaves the door open for Vision. There's this Vision Quest thing. Is that even
Yeah.
a confirmed thing, or is that just like Vision
I think it's a
Quest
rumor.
might happen? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was higher than a C tier rumor, but yeah, it's not set in stone.
Not
but
an S tier. It's not
No.
promoted to that. So, yeah, I guess, I think with Ultron coming back, there's obviously a lot of connections there between Ultron and Vision, like just outside of obviously the events of Age of Ultron, just the origin stories of those characters. Do you think that there's some reason there, like Snow Vision, and I'm just calling him Snow Vision, I know that's not his canonical name.
I like the name.
Gets brought into that project in some way, and he's either an antagonist, which is possible based on what we saw in WandaVision, or he is a crucial part of the puzzle of taking down Ultron or weakening him, or a potential way they could kill off Vision for good. I don't know if they want to do that before having another connection between him and Scarlet Witch, but yeah, what do you think about? I also think like not that the color palette really matters here, but Snow Vision and Ultron, just white robots. I don't know if there's like something to that.
Yeah.
What do you think? There any connection there, or am I just grasping at straws at that point?
No, absolutely. You're not just grasping at straws. I feel like in my mind too, I see Ultron and Vision just being really tied because of that origin of them literally being cut from the same cloth there. So it's tough for me to like think of one without the other for that reason. It doesn't mean that they have to go that route, but I would be. I was gonna say I'd be surprised if they didn't. Like if they didn't eventually clash or even just like interact in a sense, which would make Vision coming back for Armor Wars, unless Ultron just gets disposed of in Armor Wars and doesn't live on for yeah, if that's the case. But I don't know, like with those rumors of Vision Quest being like its own kind of separate thing there, I could see both sides of the coin, but personally, I have this thought that they're just too attached to not bring them together. But yeah, not too strongly, if like in that thought.
Because even think about like the original Hulk movie. Think about how much, man, they're bringing everything from that movie back. They're bringing back, already brought back Abomination. They're bringing back the leader. I think there's been, I don't think it's confirmed, but like rumors of the love interest. I forget the character's name. Coming back, and obviously Hulk is still around. He's still kicking it. So I feel like in the way that like you bring back one, you bring back the whole thing. I guess I'm looking at that, and that makes kind of sense. For Age of Ultron, you bring back Ultron, you bring back Vision as well. Those connections seem to make a lot of sense. And it's a way that you could make a Vision story compelling without Scarlet Witch. Like, I don't really see another one of those. Like, no matter what the next project is for either of those characters, I feel like we want to see them overlap in some way. Obviously, Multiverse of Madness already skipped that possibility, but I think next time you could get away with it in this case by making him tied to Ultron, a movie. Ultron and Armor Wars, a movie that would already seem to be like so heavy at that point with content going on. It's like, well, you're not going to also throw Scarlet Witch in there randomly. She shows up for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point, because like although Vision is very almost completely different than the Vision that we unfortunately had to say goodbye to in Infinity War when he just got absolutely destroyed. I still just see like Wanda and him like being like that duo that like it. In my mind right now, I feel like it's going to be weird if I see one on screen without the other, which is probably going to happen just with the way that they're kind of setting him up for this entirely different. Like, he's Snow Vision now. He has a different, like, same sort of mind, but it's just kind of, it doesn't have all those same, like, loving memories of Wanda or whatnot. So, yeah, like, to your point there, I completely agree. And I like what you said, how, like, this is a really good way to bring Vision in, and it doesn't have to just, like we'll be watching it and it's just like, well, where's Wanda? Like, this character is not one without the other. But you know, you have another opposite of him in the sense of Ultron there.
And then if you do that kind of thing, it makes that reconnection, when it does ultimately happen, even feel more earned, right? Because we had to go more on a journey to get back there. And then it's also like, if we say it's Armor Wars and then a Vision Quest that has Wanda, or a Wanda project that has Vision, then it's kind of a nice even, like they were both in one other project before they reconnected again. So.
Yeah, like the more time that you have in between, the more significant that meetup will really feel. To feel like we really went on a journey to get them back together, and it'll just hit that much harder. For all the good reasons. Yep. Cool, nice. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right, we are going to take our final ad break and then dive into some trailers. So don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, Dylan Muss, which trailer do you want to start with today? I mean, we already did a trailer. We did a big, juicy trailer, but
we did.
These are some, in my opinion, lesser.
Let's start with Paint.
Okay. This movie, is it all right if I start? I got some thoughts.
Take it away.
When I initially heard about what this was and just seeing the image of Owen Wilson, very much looking like a Bob Ross type character, I thought this was like a not a documentary, whatever that, like,
biopic.
Yeah, thank you. The biopic of Bob Ross, and just seeing Owen Wilson on it.
Me too, exactly.
Yeah. So seeing Owen Wilson on it, I'm like, this is such a bad idea. Like, he doesn't sound like Bob Ross at all. He's an actor. Maybe he could really change his voice there, but Owen Wilson is one of those actors that, like, it's few and far between where I really see him as like a different character than just Owen Wilson portraying someone. And that's not I don't think that's a bad thing. I think he's a very successful actor, and I really enjoy seeing him in movies and whatnot. I think he's really funny. He was great as Mobius. But yeah, just like that initial idea, I just thought it would be weird. I feel like if it is supposed to be a nice biopic of Bob Ross, like, I feel like it has to be not just like comedic, like it would really have to tell the tale of his story. So I to a certain degree, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like disrespectful to his life and his legacy and all these things. And then as soon as I saw the trailer, I'm like, what the fuck are they calling him? Like, what's his name? No, that's not Bob
Mm-hmm.
Ross. And I realized that this is not what I thought this movie was at all. Even though it's completely based off of that idea of like the Bob
Uh-huh.
Ross character. Um, Overall, though, I thought the trailer was okay, very like lukewarm on it. I didn't love all the comedy. I feel like, again, I'm not able to kind of take the Bob Ross label off of this project. I'm not like a super fan of Bob Ross. I don't watch all like all the TV shows of him painting, but just it I it's another thing too where I understand like there is I feel like a really big like reemergence of like Bob Ross fans. I feel like in the last few years a lot of people just really like I'm seeing Bob Ross like bumper stickers. Even my mom has like a Bob Ross like one of those mugs where you put it in hot water and it like fills up and you like
That's
see a
cool.
see a painting or
Well,
something.
they didn't they do or maybe still are doing like it's like a Twitch 24-hour 24/7
I remember seeing that on
Bob
there.
Bob Bob
Yeah.
Bob Ross thing. It's just like his videos on repeat just all day.
I don't know if they still do that, but they definitely did. I saw it on Twitch at one point in time and yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just jump in here and like what are your thoughts here? Am I alone in just thinking that this was a very mid uh mid trailer, mid movie idea? I feel like I don't
Hmm.
really even want to go out and see this. And that's extreme. I know it is, but it's just because I really thought it was going to be something and I was like sour on that idea and then it wasn't that idea, so it's kind of nice, but what I saw really wasn't enough to really sway me away. I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, I had a bit of a kind of a weird one too, where I've mentioned this that I'm like kind of sick of the biopic thing right now. I don't know.
Mm,
I feel like I'm already tired of that. I feel like there's
that's
been so
fair.
many of those, and some of them do try to do something more unique with it. But I guess that's just not what I'm really looking for, and I'm fine that they exist. I just personally don't really care unless there's maybe if they do it for someone that I truly love and have a lot of not
Yeah.
that I don't have respect for the ones that have come, but I don't know. Just they haven't necessarily got me. So when I thought that they were doing for Bob Ross, I'm like, that's kind of a weird. It's kind of a weird pairing, but like, okay, that could be interesting. Don't know if I'm gonna see it, but like, all right, we'll see what this is about. But then, yeah, I guess like realizing that's not what this is, but then it also is, I guess, gonna be maybe a bit of a satire, I guess, based on that idea and this career. Then that kind of got me more excited. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. We can do some fun stuff here. But then, to your point, the trailer itself not very funny. Uh, I don't know if I was really grabbed by any of the characters and the dynamic and just like the general plot of what's going on. Of he was this very successful guy, and then this other lady came in, started doing it, but she was doing it better, and then he's down on his luck, and then by the end of the movie, he's gonna be killing it again. He's gonna be number one. Like I kind of feel like I know what's gonna happen
Mm-hmm.
here, and I don't know if is that what happened with Bob Ross that he became this superstar big deal, and then some other person
I
came
don't think
in
so.
and like yeah like dethroned him in this status, and then he because I don't know I don't know about that, but I also don't know much about his life and story,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. It's kind of a weird choice in that way, but I also think for me like just the tension between him and this competitor,
Mm-hmm.
like there's just nothing there. There was no
Yeah.
there was no chemistry whatsoever. So I think that dynamic should be the reason you want to see this, but instead it's not. So I don't know. This could be one of those. Was this like an Apple thing? I
I don't
forget
even
who.
remember.
I forget where it's going. I feel like this seems like good for streaming. I don't know if you're going to get many people going to a theater to see this thing. So I could see myself checking it out if it is in that streaming world. But yeah, I'm not. If it is theaters, I'm not racing out to go see it. It is interesting though to see a bit of a. I feel like there's a bit of an Owen Wilson renaissance here, where I feel like post Loki, like he was in that secret headquarters thing in like a big role. I don't know if I don't think that was a big movie by any means, but it seemed like interesting casting. And then we talked about Haunted Mansion a couple days ago. He's in that as well. So I don't
Mm.
know. I'm curious, like if Loki kind of put him back in the mainstream eye or something. Producers are wanting to scoop him up again for different projects. Haunted Mansion might be an outlier to that because that's Disney and he's been with Disney for a long time. So I don't know. Just another side interesting thought.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything for Apple, so I feel
Okay.
like it'll just be coming out in theaters or whatnot. I liked what you said there, how the like him and the individual that's replacing him, like there wasn't a lot of interesting dynamic between the two, not a lot of chemistry. And as I was watching the trailer, it just seemed like something was missing. After I got the point of just understanding it's not a biopic of Bob Ross, and I think that's exactly what it is. Like I feel like I've seen these, whether it's like Anchorman, that could be a good example of like, you know, you have Will Ferrell's character, Ron Burgundy, like just getting replaced by his love interest in the movie, and then like that's kind of a clash and an interesting dynamic. But here, I don't know, like I'm not getting Civil War vibes from these two clashing, and yeah, just like you also kind of just pitched, I think, what the movie is gonna be. You know, he kind of gets his reemergence or whatnot, and I don't know, maybe it'll be one of those that I just disregard, and a lot of people are talking like word of mouth that it's just really fun. The release date's April 7th, which would have been the original Super Mario.
I'm going to Mushroom Kingdom, though.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't know about you.
I'm going to be Mushroom Kingdom. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it would have to be like a lot of positive word of mouth, but also even then I would probably just wait to see it on streaming.
Yeah, I'll wait and see what the GeekVerse community Discord letterbox ratings are for this guy before I make a decision.
And let us know if you're interested in this. If we're completely in the wrong here, we should really be loving
the
this.
Bob Ross heads out there. Are you guys just stoked for this?
Go join the GV Discord and give us your thoughts. Okay, yeah, that's Paint. Next one. Well, I guess there's only one more. No Hard Feelings. J-Law, Jennifer Lawrence.
She's back.
She's done comedy in the past. I feel like the last one that I've seen of hers would have been Don't Look Up, which is a very interesting movie, but definitely hits on that comedy side. So I could definitely see her do like I definitely enjoy see myself enjoying her comedy. And I was just like surprised, I think, to see her in this role. It was kind of it was just kind of shocking. Like she's done a lot of serious movies. She's done the Hunger Games whole series. She's done a lot of stuff, but just see her in this, I feel like I was expecting to see a different type of actor doing it, and that's not even like a negative thing at all. It was just kind of surprising. And overall, I actually really like this trailer. It was one that it was like a build up. Like when it first started off, it was like, okay, this kind of just looks like a raunchy not rom-com, maybe rom-com, but a raunchy comedy movie. But as it was going on, like I was totally like I could tell what the plot was gonna be, and you know, she even dropped the line in the trailer, like, you know, he's actually a really nice guy, and like they're gonna be bonding throughout the movie. But just the comedy, like as the trailer went on, I feel like it was actually hitting me for like the most part, or for the vast majority of it. There was just a lot of funny scenes, whether it was like Jennifer Lawrence just getting into a situation that was just really goofy, and it kind of shocked me in a positive sense of just tickling my funny bone there. But yeah, like I think there was enough in this trailer that makes me want to see this, and I'm curious to see hear Shay's thoughts when she sees the trailer, if we'll be seeing this together or whatnot.
Is she a big J-Law fan?
I don't think so. We've definitely gone through the Hunger Games together. I'm trying to think of like other movies she would have seen her. Like we watched
Red
Don't
Sparrow
Look Up.
was a big one. I think,
Yeah,
right?
she doesn't like those types of movies. Action.
X-Men.
Yeah, she's not an X-Men
The Great
fan either.
Passengers with Chris Pratt. I still have not seen that movie.
Oh, we saw that in theaters, and holy shit, what a
Regret
flat
moment.
soda that movie is, Dylan. Do not see that one. But yeah, I think this was a surprising one for sure. Like I'd seen the like the trailer thumbnail at one point in time, and like it wasn't until it was in the show notes that I was obviously going to watch it so we could talk about it here. But it was surprising in all the positive ways. So I'm excited to see this movie. What about you?
Yeah, I really like the trailer as well. It was funny. Even like the stupid things when he's like drunk at the end of the like, towards the end of the trailer, he's like drunk and he goes to punch this person, actually punches her like in the throat, and the way she's like, ah! Like I don't know, like that is stupid, but it got me. I was cracking up. I enjoyed it. So I'm into this. I think in the Discord, S-Webs and Travis were talking about how this is seems like almost like a bit of a throwback to like 90s or like early 2000s era comedies, and definitely the raunchiness
The late
feels
night
like
comedy.
it's that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've never seen her do a raunchy role like this, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, J Law's an interesting one, right? Because she became just such a huge superstar, and even like I'm just on her IMDb and says she's like she was the most like the highest paid actress for a couple of years there, which is not surprising at all. Like she was a
Yeah.
huge deal, but then it kind of became for a lot of people, I think, overexposure. She was in so much, and people
I think so.
kind of sick of her. I don't think I ever was, but even like looking at what she's done the last few years, and like she did one movie last year, one movie the year before, one movie the year before that, nothing one of those years, and then this is like the only thing upcoming on her IMDb. So I feel like it's just like she's not in a ton these days, and it's a different style of thing. And I think she was fantastic in Don't Look Up. I think she's great in everything. X-Men is kind of a weird case where there's a lot of baggage going on with the character and just those movies in general and the writing quality and whatnot. But I feel like I miss her at this point a little bit, you know? Like I loved her in Don't Look Up, but that's a couple years ago now. So
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be rushing to the theater for this one by any means, but I'm into it. Like this just seems like, you know, it's Friday night, ordered some pizzas, having a couple beers, and this seems like the perfect movie to put on and have a good time with. So I think I'll be checking this one out, I think.
And I think like that little not even like hiatus feels like a weird word, but I feel like it kind of fits because she was just doing less projects. It was good because I don't think I was like sick of her, but I definitely think I kind of fell victim to that overexposure of the actress, where I just saw so many things and she was in it, and I like, not a discredit to her by any means, but I just think she was kind of overhyped, and just I don't know, it was. No, that's the wrong way to say it. Because she is a phenomenal actress. It's just for me personally, I didn't love her performances to the extent that people were praising it. But maybe that's just me being a little bit nitpicky here. But I think she like had like a child too, like it like in the last few years. So it would make sense why she kind of took a little bit of time off.
I did not know that.
But yeah, I'm excited. This one looks fun. That's the last trailer.
Yeah.
One quick thing that I saw recently in the news, I forgot to mention earlier, but apparently Jonathan Majors, who's just so hot right now, he's in everything. Apparently he's playing Dennis Rodman. Not sure if you know who that is. Former basketball player, very interesting, very eccentric individual. But yeah, I just saw that he's going to be playing him in. Maybe it's a biopic, so maybe it's not a good Dylan movie, but I'm not sure if it is that case, but he's just playing him, and because of how fluid of an actor Jonathan Majors is, just from his recent performances. And saw Creed 3, go check out that review me and Travis did, and he was just so phenomenal in that. Like, he's such a different character than what he plays as Kang, and the fact that he's going to be playing Dennis Rodman, who is just, yeah, like I said, like such an eccentric character that you really need to bring that. I completely trust Jonathan Majors to be the one to do it. So I'm excited to when we eventually get a lot more information about that movie, but also just like the first trailer, I think it's going to be one that really, really blows me away. And yeah, it came out like either today or yesterday, so I just wanted to mention it since we're talking about the news, and Jonathan Majors is just so hot right now.
He's so hot. I love that for you. That sounds like a match made in heaven.
Okay, Alexis. And with that, we are going to end off this Weekly Geek episode. Thank you so much, Dylan. This was lots of fun. You and me have been just doing a lot of casts together lately, and it's been all good times. Yeah, go join Patreon, Discord, all that stuff. Until next time, it'll not be boring.
Bye-bye.